Breaking this morning, we got the new jobs numbers for the month of October.
That's right. The economy added 261,000 jobs in October, which is quite a bit higher than expected. The employment rate, though, inched higher to 3.7%. Here to help us understand these numbers is NBC News business and data reporter Brian Cheung and Barron's reporter Carleton English. Thank you both for joining us. Brian, we'll get right to you here at the big board with us in studio. Walk us through these numbers. The fact that it is a little bit higher was expected to be about 195, I think you told us. And it looks like the jobs market, therefore, is pretty strong, right? What's that mean?
Yeah, let's contextualize it within the other figures that we've seen. So again, September, we saw 263,000 jobs added, but the number that we just got, 261,000 jobs added in the month of October. And another number I want to highlight here is, again, what you just mentioned, that 3.7% unemployment rate. That is a little bit higher than 3.5% that we had seen in September, but does show you that the labor market is still chugging along quite strong. What's also interesting is that we saw a revision to the September numbers. So it was 263,000 last month. This was actually revised now higher to 315,000. So there's a lot of numbers here. But overall, the story is that Americans are still getting jobs. There's still a lot of options out there. Where did we see the job gains this month? Healthcare up 53,000. Professional and technical services, so think engineering, science, and also manufacturing, getting a big boost in the month of October as well.
So, Carleton, this begs a huge question right now, the impact on the Fed. Do you think they're going to go full steam ahead with the aggressive rate hikes, or might they have to pull back a little bit? What could happen here?
Yeah, I think that this is exactly a confirmation of what the Federal Reserve was talking about earlier this week when it had its 75 basis point hike, where we still see a very hot job market. And to put these figures in perspective, and I do need to compliment Brian on his fantastic chart work, but when you look at the pre-pandemic average of new monthly jobs added, it was below 200,000 a month. Obviously, we are still very much ahead of this. So the Fed really does have to continue to make the point or see evidence that, as weird as this sounds, they want to see the job market weaken.
Brian, every month, the jobs numbers, unemployment rate, Fed interest rate hikes have been big news because of this economy we're in. Right now, it's super big news because, of course, next week is midterm elections. How does this impact that, and how much do you think voters are paying attention? Yeah,
this is the buzzer beater report, if you will, the last read on the labor market before the midterm election next week. But it's not really the job market that's getting a lot of attention in this economy. That's a huge bright spot that tells you we're not in a recession. But where you get the recessionary fears is on inflation. And we actually do have some look into the inflationary picture from this report based off of average hourly earnings. How much are workers in America making? This is the pace of change over the last year. And what we did see in this report is that we actually saw average hourly earnings tick down a little bit from the 5% pace that we saw last month. It's just a smidge down to about 4.7%. That was as expected. So what this tells you is that, yes, it's starting to come down a little bit. Now, it's not a good thing necessarily on a household level to see your average hourly earnings going lower, especially when inflation is at 8%. But this is something the Federal Reserve is watching very closely because there's this feedback. Maybe if businesses are having to pay more, that increases the cost that they pass on to the customers. So this is something that the Federal Reserve very closely watching, as Carleton was just saying as well.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.